The Deal News Podcast, episode 234 for Halloween, October 31st. Fun size. Joining me is Dan. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Jeff, it's just me.
It's just us today for this
I
fun size podcast.
Now, Lewis is okay.
Yes, Lewis is okay. For those that don't know, the East Coast here had a hurricane last night, and Lewis has lost power. But other than that, I got an email from him last night. He said he was fine, but that he just doesn't have any power. So he couldn't join us today, unfortunately. But we decided to sally forth anyway with the podcast because, I think you guys. I blame Dan for this, really. He said that you guys deserved at least a little something. So we're going to do our best to cover a little bit of stuff. And since the day that this podcast is released is Halloween, let's give it a little bit of a Halloween spin, you know?
Yes, I like your costume.
Thanks. What costume?
Well, the
better answer. What costume?
Yeah, the magic floating horns of Azkaban or whatever those are. They're not following you at all.
Nope, not at all.
They were for a few moments, but
yeah. All right, probably not worth spending the CPU power to keep those running. So I'll just turn those off. And I like your look. What are you going for? Celebrity Dan? Is that your costume today?
Yeah, I kept my bathrobe on and I just threw on some sunglasses, so I'm going as Bono working from home. That's what I'll do. So yeah, these glasses are killing me though. I can't. Oh, there we go. Wow.
I will say that over my costume, your costume has the edge.
Oh, dude.
All right. Dude. So some Halloween news.
Nice. Let's move along. We're starting off slow and tapering off.
Right. I don't know if you heard, but because of the hurricane, certain areas are threatening to actually cancel Halloween this year. Kind of sounds like the plot of some children's book, you know? Like, Halloween's going to be canceled this year. Let's put on a show.
Yes. It's a redo, how the Grinch stole Halloween.
Yeah. Did you ever see, there is like Halloween is Grinch Night, like a follow-up to How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
No.
See that? Yeah. It
Really?
turns up on like Amazon Prime free videos when I go searching for things to watch for Halloween.
Is it horrible?
I have not seen it. I never choose
You
it.
can never bring yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know how good is it going to be. You know.
Right.
I don't know. Have you noticed that this year there hasn't really been a lot to watch on TV?
You know what? Seriously.
Right?
I don't know what the problem is. I mean, probably the biggest thing that's out there now is the Munsters reboot called Mockingbird Lane, which I guess was supposed to be a series, and then everyone freaked out and got scared, so they turned it into a Halloween special.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the pilot for the show. It didn't get enough, following behind it, so they were like, well, let's release it as a special, and if people like it, maybe they'll make a series from it. Did you watch it?
No.
No.
I was against that from the very start.
Oh, see,
I really was.
It actually wasn't so bad. And what's his name? Eddie
you
Izzard.
Did watch it?
We watched it, yeah.
Oh.
And Eddie Izzard is a delight to watch. As Grandpa Munster.
He would be the only saving grace of that show, to be honest with you. I mean, looking at the rest of the cast, you're going, oh, come on.
Yeah,
please.
Jerry O'Connell's a little strange.
As Herman Munster, I mean, come on, who can... This is the problem that I had with the whole thing. You can't... Eddie Izzard, I guess, would be a suitable replacement for Al Lewis.
Yeah.
But Fred Gwynne, I mean, who could replace Fred Gwynne as Herman? And Jerry O'Connell doesn't look anything like
I think
Herman Munster.
It seems like they were trying to go. You know how they rebooted Teen Wolf, and it's kind of like a edgy, gritty teen drama sort of thing, or like how they did with Smallville, and it's all like serious about that kind of stuff. I think they were trying to go a little bit more for that realism. I don't know whether
as real as you can get.
I will say that the first segment was bizarre, but once you got used to it, much like diving into a freezing cold lake, after the first couple minutes your nerve endings die and you don't feel it so much. It was actually quite pleasant.
Really?
Yeah, this is not a tip that's going to help anyone out there because it aired last Friday.
Right.
So once you DVR'd it, you're kind of out of luck.
It's a recap.
Yeah, right.
Now, if they decided that it garnered enough of a rating, to bring it back as a series, would you watch it?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
I would.
Wow,
I
man, I
probably wouldn't keep watching it well past the Halloween season because I mean it was like the perfect thing to watch in the week leading up to Halloween.
okay,
It,
all
it
right.
had like its spook quotient to it, and it was funny enough, and I liked Eddie Izzard. But I don't know, would I continue to watch it if it were like a full 23 episodes a season? Probably not.
Right.
But maybe if it were like six, like a special season every year or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be fine. Go like the
Well,
Walking Dead route, do 6 episodes or 12 episodes.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sign them on for 6, see what happens.
Yeah. At
Can't
worst, you
hurt.
get like a DVD release out of it and say that it was a miniseries.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, I've actually been combing my DVR to find shows to watch because I love the Halloween season and I love
Right.
watching so many things. And I even found this list on the HuffPo of things that are coming up to watch for Halloween, and there's
Oh,
there's like nothing on here. Remember there used to be like specials and things
right.
like that.
People like went out of their way to make really cool stuff
Yeah.
for Halloween. Like it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie
Mm-hmm,
Brown.
mm-hmm.
There was always a Scooby Doo Halloween special
Nothing.
forever. Now
Yeah.
there's nothing. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. The only things
Desperate
that I'm
Housewives come back for Halloween or something.
yes. The only scary. The only thing that I am looking forward to is it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. That is on Halloween night,
Right.
actually, which I'm very glad to see actually because normally they run it like October 2nd, and then by like the middle of October when I want to watch it, I'm like, when is that going to be on? Oh, that aired 2 weeks
No.
ago.
Yeah, that was in April.
Yeah. Didn't you see it? So luckily, it will be on. But yeah, I
Yes.
feel like I don't know. Growing up as a kid, I always remember like I don't know, Channel 11 WPIX or like the syndicated channel would run like scary movies every night, all night, for like at least a couple days before
Right.
Halloween. And I don't know, is every channel just saying like, oh, well, there are niche channels that play that. But if you have every niche channel saying, well, someone else will do it,
Then
you end
nobody
up,
does it.
yeah, you end up having nothing, right?
Well, in fact, the only channel that I know currently that's doing any sort of like horror marathon would be AMC.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a whole deal all month of October,
Right.
so it's been really cool. It's been because you could go on and watch the entire Saw series or the entire Halloween series or
Mm.
all that back to back to back.
See, maybe I'm just tuning at the wrong times then, because every time I would go to AMC, there would be nothing on it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it would be showing. Maybe Comic Book Man, I don't know,
Oh,
or something. But well, I don't know. I guess gone are the days of the super special specials. They just
yeah.
you figure you DVR it or you buy the DVD of it or whatever. So, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
We were talking about Halloween.
There was technology in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Right. This is actually interesting from a consumer standpoint. CNN put together a list of what they call Halloween by the numbers. I want to
Oh,
read some of the cooler ones off there. Cool? Are numbers ever cool?
I
The
don't
coolest
know.
number
If
of all.
you're an
22.
accountant, I guess they
Yeah.
are.
Let's see. The total Halloween consumer spending expected for 2012 is $8 billion.
That's a lot of Mars bars.
$8 billion. I found this somewhere else that the largest chunk of that spending is going to go to adult costumes. Adult costumes at 1.4 billion for the costume budget.
Really?
Yeah, followed by children's costumes at 1.1 billion. So people are spending more on adult costumes than on kids' costumes. Is
Well,
that
wait. Do you mean adult costumes like adult
no.
costumes or
Yes,
what?
adult costumes for children? What?
Right.
No,
No, that's
no,
horrible.
no. Adult costumes. See,
Well, it's yeah, I like your mug, by the way. That's very nice. Do you have like now? You know how some people like have all their Christmas ornaments in a dedicated box. Do you guys have like a box of Halloween ornaments and like paraphernalia like skeleton plates and ghost cups and
No, I mean I do use this mug all year round. It just means more around this time of year. But no, we don't we tend to not put our Halloween stuff away.
yeah, I know. I do the same
So,
thing, and it
you
drives
know.
my wife crazy. It's like,
Mhm.
in fact, she came in this morning. I've still got my lawn zombie like
Mhm.
on this shelf next to me. She comes in. Halloween's like tomorrow. Are you ever gonna put the zombie out? And I'm going. Well, honey, he's like a year-round ornament. It doesn't have to be Halloween.
Right. Honey, people expect it to be out on Halloween. They will not expect it on
Yeah,
Thanksgiving, and
yeah,
that is when it should
exactly.
go on the lawn.
Let me tell you this: when I make that Thanksgiving centerpiece out of my zombie and a bunch of stuffing,
It's just holding the turkey up and like in its crooked arms. That'd be great.
it's got a
Please try it.
drumstick in its hand.
Please try and do that. Like
I will.
weld its arms to a platter, so that it's just coming
So
out of
it's
the
lifting the
table.
platter. I like
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
a great. I'll
yeah.
put a pilgrim hat on him.
It'd be great. It's the first Thanksgiving with zombies.
Yeah. Do you have a spare couch I can sleep on in case my wife like throws me out of the house? I don't know.
Anytime, anytime. It'd be worth it.
Right.
It'd be worth it.
It would.
Just for the centerpiece.
Yes.
Yeah, my question though is it just that adult costumes cost more than kids' costumes? That's why adults are spending more on costumes than kids
You know,
are spending?
that's a great question. I
Must be,
went
right?
to I went to one of those Halloween stores locally. Where they find an abandoned building and then just set up
Yeah.
shop. I don't
Mhm.
I don't even know if they like sign a lease or anything.
Right.
I think it's just like
You-
squatters' rights or
right.
something.
You go to sleep one night and you wake up and there's like a 7 foot tall standee outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, but I went in there and walked around and saw all the cool stuff, and actually there were some really good bargains to be had, like on hanging skeletons and things like that. But the majority, I would say, overwhelmingly, 85% of the people there were adults,
Oh yeah.
and it's like they were buying costumes for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Every time I've gone into one of those pop-up stores, I never see people with kids in there.
Yeah, there
They
were some. Now there were a few,
okay.
but the overwhelming majority was people early 20s and older.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because I don't know, kids are more apt to change their minds, so you go to like I don't know, CVS or the drugstore and buy the off the rack costume for them because if they change their
Right.
mind, you could just get another one. Those are like, I don't know, $10 or whatever. But when you're an adult, you spend the extra money on the I don't know, the big package costumes.
I
I
guess,
don't
or
know.
maybe it's because kids are still young enough to where they don't know the difference if you just get a big green hefty garbage bag and cut a hole in the top and put it over them and say, "Look, you're a germ." It's like, they're still young enough to buy into that.
Roll around in some garbage and then you're contagious now. It's great. Oh, but I miss the plastic bag days of Halloween costumes.
Oh
I
yeah.
should I should find. Did I send you that photo? I should find. Maybe I'll post. No, I don't want to post to people I
No,
don't
don't
know
do that.
listening.
What
It's
goes on the internet stays there
right.
forever.
It's me. I don't know. I must have been about 7 or 8 or 9 years old, and I'm wearing the Dukes of Hazzard like garbage bag one. So it's just
Oh,
like
nice.
a scene from the Dukes of Hazzard on this plastic garbage bag, and like
Right.
a mask that kind of looks like Bo Duke. I don't know. They don't sell that kind of stuff anymore. Everything's too fancy these
I
days.
know, it's all high tech.
Yeah, curmudgeons, the two of us just left alone to our own devices. We just
I know.
kind of grouse about the holidays. Meh.
We're like the old guys at the balcony on the Muppets.
Right.
That's exactly who we are. Now, do you think that there is a correlation? Now, it would be fun to go back and see before the economy went south, what the percentage of like people in our age group were actually going out and buying costumes, because I would think that there is a certain amount of escapism involved. Now, I'm going to be a big downer here right now, but I mean, that with the economy still being not as amazing as it was, I'm just curious whether people are looking for some sort of escape, and it's kind of a semi-cheap. Well, not at $4 billion, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Some sort of
Eight
escapism. $8 billion total.
$8 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I don't know, because on one hand, you want people to, you think people might be like, oh, well, let me spend more money to have fun because things are so bleak. But then on the other hand, they're like, I don't have the money to spend because things are so bleak. And where does Halloween fall? In that is Halloween one of those must-have holidays where you're going to spend money on it no matter what, or is that kind of like I don't know, discretionary spending
Right.
held off for the other holidays. I don't know. I know for me that Halloween is one of those things where I will not I will never not buy some candy corn, and I will never not buy like a new decoration for it.
Right.
I might not buy a costume or dress up for it, but there's going to be some money, no matter how broke I am. When I'm on the streets panhandling, a quarter is going to go to buy a small bag of candy corn.
Right. You'll be sitting on the street with your candy corn in a brown paper bag.
Oh, the other day I saw that they had caramel apple candy corn.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
No? Bad idea?
Consumer tip, stay away.
Really? What did it taste
Pretty
like?
bad. Tasted like caramel, but then candy corn, but not really candy corn nor caramel. It was just they tried to blend the two and just failed horribly at both.
Kind of like grape nuts.
Yes, halfway between a grape and a nut.
Yeah.
You
Doesn't
just
taste like
find it.
grapes, doesn't taste like nuts. I don't know.
Maybe that's what I should have done. I should have splashed on some cold milk onto the candy corn.
Dude, there you go. Or heat it up on the stove. Be like those guys on Chopped. Just throw stuff in a pan and heat it up and see what happens.
Ugh. I don't know. What would happen to would candy corn even melt if you heated it up? I don't know. I think it would just scorch.
Well, isn't it made out of plastic? Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't it like stick to the bottom of any Teflon pan?
It would ruin whatever you put it in, I'm sure. No, I kid. I love candy corn. I
Yeah,
don't
but
mean
not the caramel ones you don't love.
Yeah, not the caramel ones. Mm-mm.
Okay.
All right, let's
What is
see.
is that your all-time favorite Halloween candy?
caramel corn?
Yeah. Or caramel, or candy corn, not caramel.
Oh, sorry, candy corn. Yeah, I guess it would. I guess it would have to be. I mean, there's no other candy targeted at the key Halloween demographic.
Well, I mean, but there's always a little fun-sized candy bars.
Well, yeah, but those are something that you can get, all year round. I feel
guess
like
you can. I guess you can get the fun size like Butterfingers, which are my personal favorite.
they have them for any occasion. I don't know, but for Halloween, I guess just because it's the only one applying for the job, I guess it is the best Halloween candy around, right?
Because you don't really eat it during Thanksgiving.
No, well, I mean, you have some left over from Halloween
that's true.
that you bought, and honestly, you're buying most of it the day after Halloween when it goes on sale, for
Right?
2 for 1 at the local store.
Now, speaking of candy corn, have you seen that? I don't. You're not on Pinterest, correct?
No,
I may be one of the only men alive who's on Pinterest. But they had this deal where you take cookie dough, sugared cookie dough, and you roll it up into like a tube, and then you take candied corn and stick around it and make a candied corn on the cob.
Do you then bake it?
No, you just eat
Oh.
it. My wife made those up one night, and I'm going, oh please, this is going to be the most. And of course, then I'm hooked on it. It's like,
Right.
oh, this is amazing.
Make more. I need more. You're
I
like
know.
waking her up at night. I need more of that corn on the cob.
Honey, it's 3 a.m. I need more candy corn on the cob.
I don't know, dude. I would want to bake that. Isn't there raw egg in cookie dough? Isn't that?
Yeah,
All right,
but-
I'll live a little.
Yeah, come on, live on the edge.
I live in a box. Here is an interesting consumer / political. We don't normally get political on the show. In fact, we never get political on the show. But since it's Halloween, I thought I would bring this one up. So I guess Spirit Halloween, one of those pop-up stores that you were talking about. Dan.
I like Spirit Halloween.
Not there one day, there the next, and then just leaves an empty husk on like November 1st. It's just gone. They claim that for the past 4 years, they have been able to determine the candidate who's going to win for president based on the number of masks that are sold for the president. Yep. They say that in the past 4 elections, they have been able to nail it with pinpoint accuracy.
Dude, I saw a thing on the Food Network about this bakery that does cookies based on each political party.
Right.
And then they said, oh, but we can pick the winner by the number of cookies sold, And,
yeah. No, this is totally accurate and worth reporting on, Dan. Don't you understand? For those of you who want a spoiler to the upcoming...
I dropped my earplug.
Oh, quick, get it back in.
Hold on, there we go. All right, I'm back.
For those of you who want a spoiler and don't want to see how the election turns out, I guess as of mid-October, the President Obama mask was outselling the Mitt Romney mask by 65% to 35%.
Are there any numbers on the Ross Perot mask?
Yes, it's 1 or 2%, but it really just messes up the percentage of the other
the other masks.
Yeah, so you'll never know. So I can't believe that in an election year, not only are we expected to vote, but we're expected to buy a mask too.
Oh, I know.
Candidly, voting's getting harder and harder.
It really is. But at least you don't have to be 18 to buy the mask.
Right. Yeah. See, do they take that into account? Do they take into account like the underage people buying masks? And do they take into account the fact that most people are probably buying a mask to lampoon the other president, right?
Right.
Or the other candidate, I should say.
I would think that they would have to take some of that into account
Right.
because if
Oh
you're
yeah,
if
and
you're a
they're highly
6-year-old buying a
scientific.
mask,
Right.
right? If you're 6 years old and you're buying a Romney mask, there's a problem anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, this is what you chose to like for of all the fun things in the world you could have gone on. The Avengers just came out, kids. Why don't you go for something like that? I'm going as another human being.
oh, I thought you said Romulan. I'm sorry, that was my fault.
And in other costume news, I guess we all know that Halloween is the time where people tend to dress sexy for Halloween because that's the thing to do. Well, Sesame Street and the affiliated industries are cracking down on people that sell. I had no idea this existed before I read this story. Sexy Big Bird costumes.
What?
Yep, and sexy Bert and Ernie costumes. Yeah,
Wait.
turns out this is a thing lawyers now have to draft up, cease and desist letters for.
I'm kind of scared. I don't even know if I want to do a Google search
No,
on sexy Bert and Ernie costumes.
Probably shouldn't Google.
Wow.
Shouldn't Google. Yeah. So there is something to worry about. And let's see, our last consumer story that
wait, hold on.
Yes.
Before we go to the last consumer
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
a sexy big bird outfit?
Yeah.
Have you seen a picture of this?
I have.
And?
It's kind of just like a short yellow dress with orange fringe, and then like a big bird hat like crammed onto
With
her
the
head.
big giant beak sticking out.
Yeah, because I guess what these places do is they match a dress or they make a dress in the right color. Because no one is creating these and actually selling them. So these stores are like putting two things together. So it's like, oh, well, we have this kid's Big Bird costume. Let's take the headpiece from that and sell it with the dress that we made in yellow and call it like Sexy Bird. And you would think people wouldn't want to buy this. That's the other weird thing about it, you know?
Well, it must be selling because if they've got lawyers that are cracking down on it,
Yeah.
it people have to be buying it. Although I would question anybody's judgment to want to dress up like sexy Bert and Ernie.
Yes. Oh, right. No, I agree. I totally agree.
I don't have that costume at my house. Honey, can you put that back in the closet?
But luckily, those are not the most popular costumes, as ranked by a consumer survey done by Big Insight, who's like an analyst type thing. Let's see. The top 5 adult costumes go from number 5, your favorite zombie.
Yes.
To number 4, Batman. Not surprising, seeing as how Batman.
Batman. Okay. Right.
Number 3, pirate. Just a generic pirate takes number 3. Number 2, I'm actually kind of surprised, is vampire, a classic, making it up to number 2.
Wow.
And I don't think many adults are going dressed as like Edward from Twilight.
No,
so
I hope not.
I'm hoping this is more.
What do they do? Wear just like a dark shirt and mope around? Is
Yeah.
that what you said? I can do that at home.
You buy a package and inside it's just instructions on how to look hangdog
Yeah.
and depressed.
Whoa, I sparkle.
And the number 1 costume for adult is witch. I think that's probably for
What?
ladies.
Now, see, I would have thought,
right?
I would have, you know what I would have almost done? Based on everything that you read, I would have flipped them around. Because based on the popularity of zombies, I would have thought for sure a zombie would have been the number 1 costume for the season.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe these stats are taken from what people are buying, because you don't really need to buy much if you're going to be a zombie, right? I mean,
yeah. Well,
so,
I mean, if you want to
like,
get real crazy, you could get like the dislocated jaw makeup and the, hanging out eyeball.
I could see going into one of those pop-up stores and buying a Batman costume or buying a pirate costume or
Sure.
buying a vampire or a witch. But you go in, you're like, you're going to pick up the zombie costume and realize that it's like a shredded white shirt and shredded khakis and
Well,
be like, well, I
actually,
have those.
you would think that.
Oh.
However, when I went into the costume shop, they had a full-blown double throwdown hurt me zombie outfit that actually had like shredded up clothes, but underneath that they had these
Mm.
little latex backings, like where the leg bone would be. So it was like
Ah.
exposed leg bone. It had a full-on decayed
All
head
right.
mask and all sorts of other things for 20. What was it? $29.99. It was like the
Wow.
full package deal. So it was
Wow.
actually a very complete costume.
Right. Oh,
And they
29.99.
and they
That's
did
not
have
bad.
some officially Walking Dead branded
Mm.
prosthetics and things, which I thought was very clever. So
Nice. Do they also sell like the characters as well?
I
Can you
didn't
buy
see
like
any.
Rick? I wonder.
No, you would think you'd be able to buy like a Rick character, but I mean,
Right.
honestly, if you just get a sheriff's outfit, you're pretty much dialed in on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So if you're a sheriff, you're already set
Yeah,
to play
you're pretty
Rick,
much done.
Or you could just shave your head and play Shane.
Exactly.
It's pretty easy. But one thing worth pointing out is on November 1st, you're going to get some really good bargains on costumes.
Honestly, dude, that's what I'm excited about because I'm gonna go the day after and like
Yeah,
pick stuff up
stock
at
up.
75% off. Like
Yeah.
all the great, skeletons and decorations and fog machines are gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
like 75% off.
Yeah.
So you can go crazy. And being that they're canceling Halloween in some towns, maybe they'll have November Ween or whatever they're.
Yeah, see, I wonder if like the stores in the towns that were affected by the hurricane are really going to put things on sale the day after Halloween, figuring that
Oh,
like, well, maybe people have put it off. Let's leave it at full price for another couple days
right.
and squeeze it out of you. I don't know.
Maybe.
We're gonna have to take a look. Our homework is to go to stores and see if where prices are at.
Our follow-up story
Right, right.
this week.
That'll be what we'll have to do. All right, that about does it. We wanted this to be a fun-size episode. It almost became a full-size bar of it. We have avoided becoming a king-size bar, but I
Well,
think,
that's what happens when you get two people that really like Halloween
know.
together.
I
It's like
know.
we should have found. I should have got my wife on here who hates Halloween.
Right,
It
and then it would have been over in like
It would have
5
been a
minutes.
five. It would have been a 5-minute podcast.
But yeah, so I'm glad that you forced me to do this, Dan.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. It was definitely different. Only talking to one of us
Yeah.
or one of you.
Yeah, yeah. I think it does seem like Lewis keeps us a little bit more on track, or maybe I'm just,
Yeah,
yes, we tend to ramble a little bit. No, I think it's just because it was about Halloween. We're both very excited,
Yeah.
like little kids. Like Halloween, 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 Halloween.
Wee.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, Dan. This was a great bite-sized show.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. It was great to be here, and glad we were able to get in costume.
Yes. There it
Wow,
is.
dude, that was the creepiest thing I've seen because that mask just like kind of flew out
Flew
of
in,
nowhere.
yeah. Yep. Mhm.
I'm gonna
For
put
those
my
listening
glasses
on audio, I am now virtually wearing a dog mask. So,
Yeah.
listeners and viewers, for links to today's stories, Twitter feeds, blog links, and more, go to our show notes page. Feel free to send us feedback to podcast@dealnews.com. I'm Jeff Somogyi, and that is Bono at home Dan.
And that's Jeff wearing his sexy scruffy costume.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Sultry, they call it.
Sultry, there you go.
I'm Jeff Somogyi. Goodbye.